As I always say, we are truly living in the golden era of video game remakes and remasters, which can only drive someone to think about which games from the past could get a second chance on modern consoles. The back catalog of popular games from the late 90s and early 2000s that deserve this treatment continues to grow the more I look back and replay them. Welcome to All Around Gaming, and today I'm going to give you a list of 5 games that deserve the remake or remaster treatment. Let's get started. During the PS2 era, there weren't many games that were able to capture the style of John Woo's action-packed movies. Yes, we had Max Payne, but there's another game that definitely deserves its flowers, and that game is Dead to Rights. Releasing in 2002 as an Xbox exclusive and then making its way to PS2 and GameCube, Dead to Rights took the third-person shooter genre to the next level. You play as Jack Slate, a K-9 unit officer who is looking for the people who murdered his father. Yes, you heard that right, a K-9 unit officer, which is an essential part of the gameplay as you can take control of your K-9 partner Shadow to attack enemies, steal enemy weapons, and solve puzzles around the environment. To add onto the already unique gameplay, you can also utilize items around you such as fire extinguishers by throwing them at enemies and shooting them in mid-air so they can explode. There are also hand-to-hand combat sequences as well that really help mix up the gameplay, which makes it fun and not repetitive. I wish we could see Dead to Rights get a remake or remaster for modern consoles. Tell me what you think. Should Dead to Rights get another chance on modern consoles? Comment below. When you think of an open-world crime genre with cowboys, you're almost instantly going to name the Red Dead Redemption series. However, there is one game that took on this idea way before Red Dead, and it was called Gun. Releasing for the PS2, Xbox, Xbox 360, GameCube, and PSP in 2005, Gun took the open world crime genre by storm. Introducing players to the cutthroat Wild West, you play as Colton White, a man who is on the warpath to avenge his adopted father, and will go through hell and high water to do so. The game lets you take part in so many activities that make the game very replayable, such as gambling in a saloon, bounty hunting, hunting and skinning wildlife, and even mining for gold, as long as you have the right tools. The gameplay is so well done as it makes the experience fun and realistic. One example of this is when you push your horse to run faster, it could be a blast, but if you push too hard, your horse could have a heart attack and die. Also, combat is more than enjoyable as you have the option to use your sidearm, which can enter into a quick draw, which slows everything down around you while you enter first person view and blast your enemies away. Then you have your more powerful weapons such as rifles and bows for stealth, along with a hunting knife to use as a last resort in close quarter combat. Gun is definitely a game that deserves more credit as it paved the way for games like Red Dead Redemption. At the very least, I would love to see it get a remaster or even a remake so we can enjoy this classic on modern consoles. I would love to hear what you guys think. Should Gun return for modern consoles? Comment below. When you think of Rockstar games, you automatically think of Grand Theft Auto. But what if I told you that Rockstar Games made a truly terrifying survival horror game? For those of you who don't know, the game I'm referring to is Manhunt. First released in 2003 for the PS2, you take on the role of a man named James Earl Cash, an inmate sentenced to death row, but instead wakes up in Carcer City, a place that is home to psychopaths and violent gangs that have taken over the whole city. The ultimate goal is to escape the city by all means necessary, which leads me to the gameplay. This is the most violent game I have ever played till this day. The player must use stealth and whatever weapons you can find, such as shards of glass, plastic bags, baseball bats, and the list goes on to take out their enemies in the most violent way possible. There is an actual violence gauge that you use when locked onto an enemy, which will change the color the longer you stay locked on. This determines how brutal your attack will be. Manhunt is one of those forgotten gems that definitely needs to be brought back for current generations in the form of a remake or remaster. Would you guys like to see Manhunt get the remake/remaster treatment? Comment below. There are very few movie adaptations of video games that become just as popular, if not more popular, than the original source material. When it's the other way around, however, video game adaptations of popular films seem to hit the nail on the head. especially with the video game adaptation of The Godfather. Releasing in 2006 for PS2, Xbox, and Windows, this game captured the aesthetic and character of the movie perfectly while expanding on its cinematic universe. The main character, which you can create and name through a very detailed character creation screen, is on a mission of revenge and honor as he witnessed his father murdered by a rival mafia family at a young age. Your main goal is to rise through the ranks of the Corleone family with the help of some familiar faces from the film. Gameplay is far from repetitive and deeper than GTA titles from this time, as you can extort businesses through force or by smooth talking the owners, take control of backroom rackets, bribe officers of the law, start gang wars, and the list of illegal activities never seem to end. This is what makes this game so special, as you truly feel like you are earning each rank as you work your way up the criminal ladder. The Godfather is definitely a game I would love to see get a remake or remaster for modern consoles. I would love to hear your thoughts about this classic. Would you like to see the Godfather game get a remake or remaster? Comment below. Before I reveal the number one pick for this list, I just want to say thank you to all of you still watching. I love being able to create these videos so we can start a dialogue on all things gaming related. If you happen to be enjoying this video, drop a like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'm working towards my next goal, which is to reach 500 subscribers this year. I appreciate you all for watching. Let's get back to our number one pick. One of the ultimate what-if scenarios I always used to think about would always refer to Tony Montana and Scarface. I would always say to myself, man, if only Tony would have turned around, he could have survived the attack in his mansion. And you know what? My what-if scenario came true in 2006 with the release of Scarface, The World Is Yours. I cannot stress enough how much fun this game was when it released. Taking on the role of Tony Montana to take back Miami block by block is one of the greatest open world crime experiences ever. There is so much strategy involved in running an empire, and this game makes it worth it. Gameplay doesn't just involve driving and shooting, even though the rage mode is awesome. You will have to work the street by making drug deals, buying out businesses, negotiating interest rates when laundering money, and so much more. There's even a menu where you can hire different types of henchmen and buy a ton of upgrades as well. I could do a whole long form video about how great this game is, but for now, I will leave you with this. Would you guys like to see Scarface, The World Is Yours get a remake or remaster? Comment below. Well guys, that's all for today's video of the top 5 games that deserve a remake. If you're a fan of any of the games from this list, comment below if you remember your first time playing any one of these games. It's always fun looking back at these classic games and reminiscing about how awesome they were, and just getting a dialogue going about these forgotten gems could possibly lead to a remake or a remaster in the future. I mean, what can I say except that I'm hopeful. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you on the next video.